Lena Hart is a 26-year-old woman who lives with her parents in a small suburban neighborhood on the edge of the city. She works as a customer service assistant at a local electronics company, spending her days answering calls and helping customers with quiet patience. Lena isn't loud or attention-seeking. She prefers small joys, like reading by the window or drinking tea after work. Her parents are proud of her dedication but worry that she trusts people too easily. "Be careful with love," her mother often says, smiling but serious. To Lena, love is something beautiful, gentle, warm, and full of promise. Her days follow a steady rhythm: home, work, dinner, sleep. She doesn't crave excitement, she simply wants peace and kindness. Yet life has a way of testing even the softest hearts. And soon, Lena's calm world will start to tremble. At work, Lena meets Chris Nolan, the new 29-year-old marketing officer with confident eyes and an easy smile that draws people in. He's quick with jokes, effortlessly polite, and seems to notice things no one else does. One morning, he compliments her patience and says, "You make everyone's day better just by being here." Lena laughs shyly, unused to such words, but something inside her glows. He starts bringing her coffee, remembering exactly how she likes it: 1 sugar, no cream. They begin eating lunch together, sharing stories about their childhood and dreams for the future. Chris tells her, "You're too good for this job. You deserve more." His words sound caring, but they plant quiet seeds of doubt in her heart. Her mother's voice echoes in her mind: "Real love grows slowly." But Chris moves fast, texting her goodnight, calling her before work, showing up when she's late. He calls her "my sunshine," and every time, it melts her defenses a little more. She feels special, chosen, loved, as if the world finally sees her. When he checks her phone, just to make sure no one's bothering you, she laughs nervously but says nothing. He apologizes and kisses her forehead, saying, "I only worry because I care." Lena wants to believe him. After all, love should be protective, right? So she silences her doubts and opens her heart wider. She doesn't realize, control rarely comes loudly. It begins softly, hidden in affection, disguised as care. And Lena, too kind to suspect danger, steps quietly into the storm. Weeks turn into months, and Chris's affection slowly turns into possession. He starts calling every hour, asking where she is and why she didn't answer right away. At first, Lena laughs softly and says, "You're being silly." He frowns, his voice cold but calm, "I just love you too much." He begins to appear at her workplace during lunch breaks, pretending to surprise her. She smiles awkwardly, feeling both flattered and uneasy. One evening, she meets her old friend Mia for dinner. Her phone dies, and for the first time in months, she feels free from constant checking. When she turns it back on, 12 missed calls appear on the screen. Her heart sinks. She rushes home, her stomach tight with worry. Outside her house, Chris is waiting under the streetlight, his face unreadable. "Why didn't you answer? Were you with someone else?" he demands, his tone sharp. Lena tries to explain, her voice trembling. He shouts, then breaks down crying, grabbing her hands. "I'm sorry," he sobs. "I just can't lose you." She forgives him because she wants to believe love should be patient. But deep inside, something begins to ache. Soon after, he tells her to quit her part-time job because the men there look at you too much. She hesitates, but he insists, saying, "You don't need to work, I'll take care of you." Her mother notices the change in her eyes. Quieter, dimmer. "Are you happy, Lena?" she asks softly. Lena forces a smile, whispering, "Yes, Mom. He just loves me. Differently." Chris starts criticizing her clothes, saying they're too revealing. He wants her to delete social media, claiming, "It's better if the world doesn't see what's mine." One night, he finds a message from a coworker asking about a report. His face darkens. "Why is he messaging you?" he growls, gripping her wrist tightly. She winces, whispering, "Chris, you're hurting me." He releases her, apologizing over and over, promising it will never happen again. But it does, not always with shouting, sometimes with silence. Long, heavy silences that feel colder than anger. Lena begins to lose sleep. She starts avoiding her friends, afraid they'll ask questions she can't answer. Her world grows smaller. The same house, the same voice, the same fear. Every rule comes with an apology. Every tear comes with a promise. And every day, without realizing it, Lena disappears a little more. Lena's parents notice her sadness growing each day. Her father says softly, "You've stopped smiling, Lena. What's wrong?" She forces a small laugh and replies, "I'm just tired from work." Her mother glances at her, unconvinced, sensing something deeper. At dinner, Lena barely eats, staring at her plate in silence. Her father exchanges worried looks with her mother but says nothing. The truth, however, refuses to stay hidden forever. One rainy night, the storm outside mirrors the one inside her heart. Chris shows up at the house, soaked, drunk, and shouting her name. "Lena, come out. We need to talk," he yells, his voice echoing through the street. Her father rushes to the door, anger and fear blending on his face. "Leave my daughter alone," he commands, stepping between Chris and the house. But Chris's eyes are wild, lost in rage and jealousy. "She's mine," he shouts, pushing her father hard against the gate. The sound of the fall pierces the night. Her father collapses, blood streaming from his forehead. For a second, everything stops. Lena screams and runs to her father's side, shaking, her tears mixing with the rain. "Dad, please open your eyes," she cries, holding him tightly. Chris stands frozen, horror spreading across his face as reality hits. "I didn't mean it. I love you, Lena," he cries, stumbling toward her. But Lena looks up at him with eyes filled with disbelief and pain. "This isn't love," she whispers, her voice breaking. The neighbors rush out, shouting for help. Someone calls the police as sirens begin to wail in the distance. Chris tries to reach her, but two officers hold him back. He screams her name as they handcuff him and drag him toward the car. Lena doesn't move, she just clings to her father, trembling under the rain. Her mother kneels beside her, sobbing, "It's okay, he'll be fine. You're safe now." When the ambulance arrives, Lena's hands are still stained with her father's blood. Her heart feels hollow, numb, and unbearably heavy. She watches the flashing red lights fade into the distance. The man she thought she loved disappears behind another set of lights, blue ones. In that moment, something inside her breaks, but not her heart. It's the last piece of denial she's been holding on to. She whispers through her tears, her voice trembling but certain. "I'm done. No more excuses. No more pain." Days pass in heavy silence, broken only by the ticking clock in her room. The world feels distant, unfamiliar, and strangely quiet. Lena spends hours staring at her phone before finally deleting every message, every photo, every trace of Chris. Each press of the delete button feels like tearing off a bandage, painful but necessary. Sometimes she scrolls through old pictures just to remind herself how easily love can turn into fear. Then she closes her eyes and whispers, "That wasn't love. That was control." At night, tears come without warning. She cries not for the man he truly was, but for the love she once believed in. In her dreams, fear still visits, the shouting, the rain, the blood. Yet when she wakes, she feels something new, relief that it's over. Her mother sits by her side with quiet strength. "You're safe now, and that's all that matters," she says, brushing Lena's hair gently. Lena opens her journal one morning and writes, "I was not weak. I was kind, and he mistook it for permission." The words make her chest ache, but also breathe again. Healing, she realizes, isn't loud or dramatic. It's a quiet, stubborn climb back to the person she used to be. She starts reading again, losing herself in stories that remind her hope still exists. She begins taking long walks, watching sunsets she used to ignore. Each breath feels like reclaiming a piece of herself. One step, one tear, one sunrise at a time. Her reflection in the mirror no longer looks broken, it looks braver. Loneliness no longer feels like punishment. It feels like recovery, and maybe a new beginning. Months later, Lena wakes up before sunrise, feeling lighter than she has in years. The air smells of possibility, not regret. She lands a new job at a small independent bookstore downtown. The scent of paper and coffee becomes her daily comfort. Her manager, Evan Brooks, is calm, patient, and genuinely kind. He listens without judgment, respects her space, and never pushes too far. For the first time in a long while, Lena feels safe at work. No walking on eggshells, no pretending to be smaller just to be loved. When Evan compliments her dedication, she simply smiles. She doesn't need validation anymore, only mutual respect. Customers start recognizing her warm smile and gentle voice. She learns to enjoy simple conversations again, unguarded and real. One afternoon, Evan says, "You seem stronger every week." Lena laughs softly and replies, "Maybe I finally learned to protect my peace." Those words linger in her heart long after he walks away. She realizes strength isn't loud, it's quiet, steady, and built from pain turned into wisdom. As months pass, she begins volunteering at a local women's center. She listens to stories that sound heartbreakingly familiar: fear, control, survival. Instead of pity, she offers understanding. Instead of tears, she offers hope. Each time she speaks to someone afraid to leave a toxic love, her voice doesn't shake anymore. It carries truth. One evening, walking home from work, Lena passes by a cafe she once visited with Chris. The same table, the same soft lights, but the memories feel distant, almost like someone else's story. She stops for a moment, takes a deep breath, and feels nothing. No pain, no fear, no bitterness. Just peace. That's when she understands the real meaning of freedom. It isn't about forgetting what happened, it's about remembering without hurting. As she watches people pass by, she realizes she's no longer surviving. She's living, slowly, gently, and entirely on her own terms. Her scars remain, but they no longer define her. They remind her of everything she overcame. That night, she writes in her journal, "I'm not who I was. I'm stronger, softer, and finally free." A year later, Lena works as a counselor for young women trying to rebuild their lives after toxic love. Each story she hears reminds her of who she once was: scared, uncertain, but hopeful. She listens patiently, never interrupting, only guiding with kindness. Her office is small but filled with warmth, books, and the soft scent of lavender. One afternoon, a trembling girl whispers, "I don't know how to leave him. He says he loves me." Lena takes her hand gently and says, "Real love doesn't cage you. It helps you fly." The girl looks at her, eyes wide with tears, and asks, "How did you know when to walk away?" Lena smiles softly, her voice calm but firm. "When I started choosing peace over pain," she replies. That night, as the last client leaves, Lena stands by the window, watching the city glow beneath the sunset. The streets are alive, full of stories, some still hurting, some still healing. She whispers to herself, "I survived. And now, I'm helping others survive too." It's no longer about what she lost, but what she gained: strength, clarity, and compassion. Her story isn't about heartbreak anymore, it's about rebirth. It's about understanding that love without respect is a beautiful prison, and freedom sometimes begins with goodbye. Lena knows that walking away wasn't her weakest moment, it was her bravest. Because sometimes, courage looks like silence, tears, and one firm step toward the unknown. She closes her journal and writes one last line: "The end of a toxic love is not the end of love itself, it's the beginning of self-love." Toxic love teaches painful lessons, but from those wounds grows unshakable strength. True love never asks you to shrink, it helps you grow. What about you? Have you ever mistaken control for care? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more emotional English stories that help you learn English and heal your heart.